Hi there. Oh, do I
Hi, how are
do I hear
you?
a little dog
You do. You hear some
or
feet.
a big
A big
dog?
dog.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hi, Sir Zeno D'Amato. Good, Christy. I'm glad to be here. I'm honored to be here. Uh, NC Blue Dot, I see you're here. Are you wanting to come up? Can Mom tap the screen, please? Thank you. Everybody's here. Everybody's getting going. I know we got lots going on. Yeah, Christy, it's gonna happen because everybody's talking about the same thing. So, you're gonna get thrown out there. There are times where it's going to happen, and it's happening on the other apps as well. I had to delete my first video over at Mark's Place because of how bad it's gotten. So, but I just planted my feet firmly in a position statement in the video I just posted, and I went back to Columbine because we are not going to pretend that we have a. Thank you. I can't see your name. Whoever just sent the gift. Thank you so much. Oh, I think I just invited you. Just sent a gift. I don't know who you are, so I don't know if that's something that I should have sent or not. That might be a problem. Um, Thank you for sharing the live, Ken Mom. That does help. Hi, Monty. I'm glad you're here as well. How's life in Canada? Just curious. How's life in Canada? Thank you for the follow, also, Miss Cake. Stevie, yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, there is absolutely a difference between the parties. Hi, Heather. I'm so glad you're here. That's okay. That's okay, Christy. If I accidentally invited you. Hi, sweet Kathy. Thank you for being here. So, yeah, I'm seeing a lot. We're all seeing a lot of rhetoric about about how the left is being we are to blame for the rhetoric around Project 2025. This is absolute nonsense. We could be separated from the incident on Saturday, and uh, also I'm going to have to drink. I'm having little bit of an allergic reaction. So, um, hey, hi, Go Gray Dame. How are you, dear one? Uh, Alton, I don't know who you are. I can't see your content. Can you tell me you've been asking to come up? Hi, Linda. Thank you for coming. So I think it's going to require an educational, informed response to make sure that we can still continue to talk about Project 2025, the threat of Christian nationalism, what's happening inside SCOTUS. If you recall, I did a video, it's been a long time, about Overton Window. Do y'all remember? Monty, do I think it is impacting the whole world? Yes, Project 2025 is impacting uh, the whole world. Peggy's asking who the vice president for Trump's going to be. I don't know. Whoever it is going to be, based on the candidates that you're seeing, it's going to be radical. Um, Horned Hunter, how fast can they file an appeal against Cannon? That I don't know. But do you all remember the videos I did about the Overton window? Because this is what's happening. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you for your kind comment. This is what's happening to us. Because for those of you who were around when the attempt was made on Reagan's life, the world just stopped. I mean, everyone was glued to their TV. These things just didn't happen, especially in America, and not at least in this time, not since Kennedy. We just, as everybody, the world stopped when Kennedy was unalived. So when this happened, that was the night of the championship game, and of course that's why I remember it, because Indiana was in the national championship game, and there was talk about not having the game because we weren't sure about what was going to happen with Reagan. And so everything just stopped, and everybody was glued to the TV. And on Saturday, we were traveling. I'm not at home right now. And there was nothing. We stopped at a restaurant. Nobody even had it on. It was soccer and different sports and golf and everything else. And people were talking, nothing have it on, because we are so numb to crisis and violence and chaos. And then how people spin the narrative. It's almost like part of what we expect this day and age. So that was a little shock to be able to live through both, to see what happened when Reagan and to see what happened with Trump is very interesting. I'm not going to talk anything about what happened specifically. I think there's a lot of information that's still going to come out, and we'll see where it lands. Thank you, Troy Anthony. Thank you for your kind words. So yeah, we have to, skip this step. I've seen several of you comment about Judge Cannon dismissing, and that's where I was going with the Overton Window, about how it's numbing us to chaos, violence, corruption, deception. Like, we don't know what's true and what isn't. That's what the Overton Window does. It shifts the behavior to what's acceptable. You know, who was around when John Edwards' presidency campaign was kaput when it found out that he had an affair? Who was around when Howard Dean's campaign was derailed after he shouted yeehaw, and that wasn't becoming of a presidential candidate, and he got derailed? This is how far we have shifted from what we considered acceptable behavior of our leaders versus now. That's what the Overton Window does. And Clarence Thomas last week hinted, over 2 weeks ago, that Cannon was going to do just that. That's the start of shifting the window so that you don't have a massive overreaction when something like this happens over and over again. SCOTUS has proven time and again that their one priority is to protect Trump. So, you know, even people talking about, moral atheists, I didn't see you were here. I'm glad you're here. Even people talking about, well, Biden should claim immunity for some of his actions. It's not the same thing. The way I understand it, the way it's written, SCOTUS gets to review the actions of the president to decide whether or not they're immune. It's clearly intended to protect someone like Trump and not like Biden. SCOTUS has completely hijacked how that's going to play out in order to give favor to the executive branch if the executive branch is led by Trump, no one else. Yes, Troy Anthony is absolutely. Hi, user 07. Hi, Dark West Coaster. We have our own Christo-fascist movement up here. I have not followed that, Dark West Coaster, but I am serious when I say that I think that we need to be careful about, we need to start thinking about what we're going to protect. Hi, Ziggy. How you doing, sweet soul? Are you doing okay? We need to start thinking how we're going to protect the marginalized. It's time to start having those conversations. Thank you so much for the gift. The gifts. We need to start talking about how we're going to start protecting them. Movements to blue states, helping people complete their passports. It's time. It's time to start thinking that way. We already seeing an uptick in violence towards the LGBTQI plus community. You're going to start also seeing that towards Black, Indigenous, and people of color people. I'm not an alarmist. I'm only looking at what's happening here. I'm only looking at what's happening. Every day we are moving closer to chaos and corruption and violence. So what do we have to do to protect our most marginalized? I think we have to consider what we do that. So the people who are stationed in blue states, how can we start to mobilize or protect people whose gender affirming care is going to be annihilated in the red states, who has an uptick for violence, especially Black, Indigenous, and people of color. We need to start talking about that. And Raquel, I agree with you about what we need to do right now to vote, but the entire system is flawed. We are going to continue to perpetuate this kind of problem until we look at the whole systemic issue of patriarchy and how it's set up to protect white people, and particularly white men in power. So there's a lot that's happening now as this starts the weight of that and the oppressive structure that has of marginalized people that have been had to be the major upholders of that system, and why people primarily in red states and those in power, the Christian nationalists in power, are creating laws that will annihilate that safety net that actually creates equity in our system since the civil rights. They want to get rid of those because it threatens the patriarchal structure. They're basically saying, who's going to do the work for the man? Who's going to do the work for the man? Let me see who's in my comments. Cece, hi, are you here? Do you want to come up? I don't want to invite anybody who doesn't want to come up. If you want to come up and you are my mutual, first of all, if you're my mutual, just if I don't see, Lynette, can you see the guest's queue? Can you see the guest queue from your place? Okay, just let me know. Lynette, I'm going to try to make you a co-host. If I could spell right, I could make you a co-host. Yeah, but the thing, Lynette, it says you're not on the live. Which one are you? You're right there, and it says you're not on the live. I don't understand that. Let me see if I can do it from here. I'm going to drop you down. I'm going to drop you down off the live and see if I can do it then. Yeah, it's telling me you're not on the live. I don't understand that. So let's put you back up. I don't understand. This is when this app drives me nuts. Yes, Anthony is saying Trump's people and pastors like Greg Locke are flipping it like God and his angels. That's intentional. That's intentional. We can separate the response from the actual event. And the response is intentional. Because what I believe the Christian nationalists are afraid of is your moderate evangelicals. Your moderate evangelicals are people who are, there's a lot of us who came from that place where we just wanted to believe our politicians would do the right thing. And we didn't really want to pay attention to that. We had lives. We wanted to just go on with our lives, right? So when we realized we couldn't, and we really needed to start paying attention, then you become informed, you become a threat to the patriarchy. So because of Project 2025 is trending higher than Taylor Swift. Project 2025 is trending higher than Taylor Swift. People are paying attention to this. People can read it for themselves. So yeah, you have a bunch of people. Anytime I post about Project 2025, I'm going to get a slew of people to say, oh, it's like they'll literally come in. They're getting notifications and they'll just flood the comments and say, no, it's not that bad. You're making all this up. You're an operative. They're part of the system that's trying to cancel what the actual threat. So now that this incident happened, the response now is to try to bring the uninformed, but now becoming informed, moderate evangelical into line and remind them, never question God's ordained, never question the religious patriarchy, never question the fact that you are supposed to let the white man decide who you're supposed to vote for. They're pinging them with this guilt to remind them of the religious patriarchy. If you've sat in those church pews, you know I'm right. You know what it feels like if you're getting a little bit out of line, and how they'll try to bring you back into correction. Because the most radical of these, which is the new Apostolic Reformation, and if you have not seen my videos on that, I plan to do more. I heard it described on a podcast, that straight white American Jesus. Y'all, go watch, go listen. Please go listen to that. And there, from there, it'll take you to another podcast. It's going to give you all the talking points that you need and the information that you need to understand how sinister this entire movement is. So what you need to do is understand that the National Apostolic Reformation is the most extremist group of Christian nationalists. They are the most extremist. And they're filtering down enough information into the evangelical base to keep them in support. Well, now that you got Project 2025 with a spotlight on it, people are starting to understand, I don't want this for my neighbor. I don't want this for my gay nephew. I don't want this. I don't oppose same-sex marriage, which, by the way, the majority of Americans aren't opposed to same-sex marriage. Most Americans aren't opposed to smortion. So you're looking at them trying to make them say, well, this is God in church. It can't be that bad, until they start reading Project 2025, until they start seeing, until they're just sitting and watching the BET Awards and hear someone say, how brave that was for her to say, go read it, y'all, go read it. And then all of a sudden they realize they can't control the narrative anymore. It's not enough because these people aren't being spoon-fed from the pulpit. They're actually listening. Thank God for social media, because they're listening. They're paying attention. Holly asks, do you think he will turn on Project 2020 after election in lieu of his own agenda, like dictatorship? No, Holly, they're too much aligned. And I think what Agenda 47 was meant to do was, Project 2020 is very systemic. Project 2025 is about the deliberation of that. It's activating that, which even by their own admission and Trump's admission, is that he wanted, it's already, in his first presidency, 65% of that or 64% of that has already been implemented in action in some way, shape, or form. So Project 2025 was saying, all right, we missed an opportunity in 2017 or 2016 to make this really be everything we want it to be. We're not going to make the same mistake again. And according to a latest report, and I don't have the source in me, but I'm going to start keeping sources on, you'll see it at the end of this video. I'm not sure if I say it here, what will happen, but I'm creating content on Substack. I'm just going to say it. And that's where you can find my sources. So that will be another place where you can go to read. I encourage you to do so. Yes. Lynette, did you just accept a guest? Were you able to do that? Yay. I'm like a squirrel, Cece. I'm like a squirrel.
That is okay. Do you want me to pop down?
No. My mutuals are always welcome here. I'm glad she did. I'm glad she did that. Anybody who can come up, I'm happy to do that. If I don't know who you are, we need to just vet you a minute, because we're not going to be taken over by trolls. I really do appreciate those of you, including you, Cece. I think you have conversations with opposing views, and I commend you for it. But unless I can have a civil conversation with people, I can't do that here, because so many of the people who follow me have so much trauma from those kinds of people. It's way too triggering. And the last thing I need to do is pull them away from that. So I commend you. I commend NC Blue Dot, Mr. Jones, all the people who do that. Y'all, you're my heroes, but I can't do that. So how you doing?
Good. I want to thank you for two things. The information on the NAR, has put me down a rabbit hole that I have like a whole binder of things that I printed out that I have to go through.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was
Awesome. Well, once
unaware.
you've done that, come back here so we can have a conversation about it, because I don't think people still realize how much that is. I had videos queued up to record on Saturday and Sunday, but I thought, all right, we need to take a break here. If you have not gone down the rabbit hole, thank you, Dark West Coaster. If you have not gone down the rabbit hole to read about Dutch Sheets, Lance Wallnau, Wallnau, and also Paula White. Paula White was the Evangelical Commission for Donald Trump and his spiritual advisor. She very much is a part of the NAR. And for those of you who haven't seen my videos, that's New Apostolic Reformation. Y'all need to understand this is the sinister side. And here's the crazy thing, Cece, and you might not have gotten this far. Several of you have heard me talk about how I cannot make the connection between like Opus Dei, because Opus Dei is, oh, thank you, Simon. Opus Dei is like the extremist faction inside Catholicism. And we know that's insidious because it's linked to Leonard Leo. Leonard Leo handpicked the SCOTUS candidates, including the 3 that Trump nominated. So we know he's tied, we know he's tied to that. And that Leonard Leo believes that it's never about church or state, it's church over state. Okay, so we know that about Opus Dei, and we know this about the NAR. But NAR is evangelical, Opus Dei is Catholic. Now, they don't play well in the sandbox. I was raised evangelical. I know what's said in the back rooms and the Bible studies about Catholicism. All of us do. Come on now. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Everything has to come out now. So how are those two working together? And I just mentioned that straight white American Jesus. They're doing the same thing. I saw an interview where they were on NPR and they're going, I don't get it. I don't get it. How are they getting along? Unless, this just occurred to me, are they working together and then in an agreement, one of them gets this and the other gets this to control our country?
Well, is it like the enemy of my enemy is my friend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I thank you. Thank you for the gifts. Happy shy, I think. Yes, Dark West Coaster. They're both anti-schmishmortion and anti-women. They're all the things. They are all the things for sure. They're also going to be anti-LGBTQ, anti-DEI, anti all of that is absolutely what they are. No one but a white Christian man's going to be protected and in power in that situation for sure. So Cece, what are you hearing on your end?
Like I said, I was literally just printing everything out. I'm not someone who can read on a computer and absorb what I'm taking in. So I've got a book here with highlighters and pens to just kind of go through. And that's my mission tonight. So I will definitely come back tomorrow, next day, whenever you're talking about it, and we can.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll have lots of questions.
Okay, you're welcome to stay up if you want to comment, or you stay there. I'm just doing this organically. Moral atheist, there is no ignorant question. DEI is the diversity, education, and inclusion. Mm-hmm. What yep. Did I miss? I have to tell you all, I had an allergic reaction yesterday. And so you can tell my eyes are a little puffy. So I am in a brain fog. Thank you. Equity. Thank you. I knew that didn't sound right. I'm in a brain fog. So if I misspeak, please forgive me or call me out for sure. Call me out. But that's what it is. And it's a a place where you're taking active role to not only create the equity and the amplification and the qualifications of the BIPOC community, the Black, Indigenous, and people of color, but you're also educating the workforce to show where those microaggressions are, how we can learn about our own indoctrinated racism and how it's created a system of privilege for white people. So, and that can get really uncomfortable. That can get really uncomfortable for a lot of people who aren't willing to see it, because it's real easy to talk about race as indoctrination. And we can talk about that and kind of push the mirror out. But when we're talking about DEI initiatives or anything like that, where you're really unpacking and deconstructing from that racist indoctrination, you got to turn the mirror inside and recognize how long we were complacent because we were privileged in it. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard to separate the fact that that does not make you a bad person. It's part of the indoctrination. So you can't, it's very, very hard to do. It's not impossible, but it's also ongoing for all of us. Even though I've been doing it for a long time, it's very hard to do that. So yes, you can see why the Christian nationalists don't like it, for sure. For sure. So Holly J asks an interesting question about conflict. I'm not going to say it here just in case that is something we can't say out loud in a live. I hope not. There are some people who romanticize it and actually want us to go there. I hope not. I think for anybody who it's so easy to say that when you're not attached to the people that you're actually sending into battle. And I have grandkids and I have nephews and nieces that would be involved in that. I don't want anybody's life to be at stake for that, when we should be able, because we are a democracy and we know that the vast majority of Americans do support human rights. The vast majority of Americans do support DEI and initiatives, do uphold the voting rights, the civil rights of the 60s, the expansion of those rights. Because don't forget that in 1974, I was 13 years old. We are not talking about ancient history here. That was the year that women got the right to have credit in their own names. They could actually buy things without having to have their husband's permission or their husband to sign for them. We're not talking about ancient history here. So we want to make sure that thank you for sharing the live, Sherry. You always do that. Thank you so much. So I'm going to be the first to say, can you repeat the year for me again? 1974. Am I right, y'all? It wasn't 1974. It could be 1973.
I thought it was 1970 for bank accounts.
Credit card. I'm going to have to go take a Benadryl. 1974?
That might be 74 for credit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what year was interracial marriage legal? Was that 73? Those things aren't coming to my head right now. But anyway, it was in there. So interracial marriage was 73. Before that, you could be arrested for being in a relationship with a person found just dating. You could get harassed for going out on a date with someone. Thank you so much for sharing the live, everyone. So
I wonder, how do you think that they would even enforce this now? Because like I'm biracial, but you would never know it looking at me.
I don't know. I don't know because, Mike Braun, the governor candidate here in Indiana, when he was a senator, he was interviewed just 2 years ago in 2022, flat out said, once again, I'm talking about the Overton Window. Do y'all understand what the Overton Window is? There's 134 of you in here. Do you understand what the Overton Window is? You need to understand it.
I don't.
That's why things like the canon dismissing the documents case is just a normal Monday here in America, because they keep shifting what they say is normal. They keep shifting it, and we're getting so numb to the chaos and tension and violence and the deception that we just try to keep going on with our lives and surviving. And that's what they want us to do. That's exactly what they want us to do. So when you have Mike Braun 2 years ago getting up, they're testing the waters to see how outraged we are. But now that they've said it, are you really going to be surprised when they don't do it? So 2 years ago, he said that he's disappointed that SCOTUS is still the one who decided that interracial marriage was legal, that it should be up to the states to decide. Now, what else happened during 2022? SCOTUS knocked down Roe v. Wade. SCOTUS had, look at everything, all the rights that SCOTUS has annihilated in 2 years. Do you think they're going to take that up? Of course they are. They're giving you all the cues, and they're trying to numb us. So when Clarence Thomas said that case that Jack Smith brought against Trump for the documents was more than likely illegal, they were cueing us for what they were getting ready to do so that we wouldn't be shocked when it dropped today. That's called the Overton window. They keep shifting what is normal, acceptable behavior so that we're not shocked and still try to live in this chaos and call this America while the world looks on and thinks, what in the world is happening? Was legalized in 67. Thank you, Big Daddy. I couldn't remember. Yes, Thomas is married. Yeah, exactly. Thomas is married to a white woman, but they don't see it as it being their problem because they see themselves so far up the privileged ladder that it's not going to bother us. It's not going to bother us. We're just going to take this. We're just going to do this for the rest of the country.
Yeah, rules for thee, not for me.
Exactly. So I went off there again. We will become a fascist. Yeah, Finada. And I did say something at the very beginning of this. And again, I'm not an alarmist, but I do think unless we do start talking about it and these things keep happening, and I want to tell you right now, I'm not giving up. I am not giving up, but I am worried about the most at risk in our society because they keep signaling what they want to do. And if Project 2025 keeps happening, then disability is going to go away. Head Start's going to go away. Funding for childcare is going to go away. Medicare is going to go away. These things, so the most fragile in our society, they're making sure that they are annihilating all those services. So then they can feed us breadcrumbs and keep and reinforce this patriarchal structure. They would like nothing more than that. There are many states that have already started to either lessen or completely do away with child labor laws. So this is not just one state. This is not just one thing. It's the country because SCOTUS is working in cooperation. Now, I have a playlist here that's called Project 2025. I have another one that I'm starting that's called New Apostolic Reformation, and I'll be making more there.
I have a
Big Daddy, just go away. I mean, Jesus. Anytime someone says to you, lady or woman, which is a sexist term, and it also comes from that kind of misogynistic background that's meant to minimize me as a human being. Because I'm a lot of things, but what he's signaling is because he's a man, he's going to, that is an insult to people to call them that. It's to bring them into attention and into compliance. So y'all don't put up with it.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So the Supreme Court, to me, is the overarching issue. The president is a figurehead, right? But our crazy conservative Supreme Court is the crux of most of the issues going on right now. We have 9 justices, which was based on when we had 9 federal districts, but now we have 13 federal districts. So why isn't Biden installing 4 more judges? and evening
I
out.
don't, is there anybody here who knows more about SCOTUS process? I don't know. If you remember after Roe v. Wade and even after Trump nominated, y'all just go back and look what McConnell did with when Merrick Garland was not, when Obama tried to nominate Merrick Garland
Mhm.
8 months before an election. And Garland said that it was, I'm sorry, Mitch McConnell said it was too close to an election to nominate a Supreme Court justice. And then he basically ran Barrett after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. He basically ran her to the nomination a month before an election because these people are so flipping corrupt, and they do it under the banner of heaven. Because this is another thing that you need to understand about this side of evangelical Christianity, that anything is possible. That's what this whole appeal to heaven flag, which was another video I was going to do on Saturday, but I thought, the timing's not good. The appeal to heaven flag, it has historical roots that they're trying to deflect and say that this is about our historical roots, when in reality they've changed it. Read what Judge Sheets did with that. And Cece, I know I'm all over the place. Part of that is I'm going to blame the allergic reaction.
You're fine.
But you have to understand that they will do whatever they can. So I'll stop it there, and I'll talk about the appeal to heaven flag. So McConnell, so he gets Barrett into SCOTUS. So now you've got these three corrupt judges, three of which said that Roe v. Wade was established law, and that no president is immune. No president is immune. And again, they're not afraid of lying, because it's under the banner of heaven. If it brings forth God's will and it hastens the kingdom of God, we can do whatever, because y'all aren't saved anyway. Y'all are going to hell. We can do whatever because we're doing it under the banner of heaven. That's the kind of people that we're dealing with, the caliber of people that we're dealing with. And we were so outraged. We were so outraged. And there was a discussion about term limits, about the quality of people that we were putting on the board, about expanding the court. But where did we go? We didn't. Because at the end of the day, that's where the flaws in our system are. Now, for all the good things that Biden has done under his term, because there's a lot of things that he has done good, he is still part of a patriarchal system. That's why the Democratic Party in and of itself doesn't do enough to change that. Because they work inside this patriarchal structure. It's almost like they're on autopilot, thinking that this is going to continue to work when it isn't. And they can't even see how much we are being walked down into a fascist theocracy. They cannot see that. So yeah, it's going to be we the people. We the people are going to have to be the ones who are going to change this. We, the people, are going to have to be the ones to change this. And that means that, and this is not a call for any kind of violence, but this is a call for some kind of national uprising. Apparently voting for, we voted Clinton. There were 3 million more of us that voted for Clinton than we did Trump, but because of that electoral college that most of us don't even understand. And it really was to protect the patriarchy, all of this structure, because that electoral college was put in place because it's like, what if they're going to elect somebody that we really don't think should? Those uneducated citizens, is that really a good idea? So why aren't we talking about all of this? Why aren't we talking about all of this? Now, I will agree that we are in the middle of a crisis. So we have to vote Biden. We have to vote for Biden. Do we have a situation where is there corruption inside there that might not count our votes, or they'll somehow hijack the electoral college? All of that could happen. But the more of us that are having these conversations and talking about what Christian nationalists are capable of, and we understand what Opus Dei and Leonard Leo is doing, and what the New Apostolic Reformation is doing, and how much they are ingrained inside SCOTUS, ingrained into the people like Mitch McConnell and Marjorie Taylor Greene and all the people inside Project 2025. They're all in there. So we're not just talking about a moderate evangelical base. These are highly informed and highly influential and rich operatives that are insidious. They don't care. They will use whatever power they can. They will use whatever power they can. And that's why, everything that they plan to do, they've hinted towards everything. And we now know that even now, Project 2025 is investing millions of dollars looking at people's social media, looking at them to see who they can recruit and to see, and it's right here on TikTok. Well, who's the guy, John McAtee, who does those stupid videos acting like he's some kind of millennial talking over his sandwich? It's all part of it. He's trying to figure out who's going to comment on his videos to see who is an adversary and to see who's possibly somebody that they can recruit. It's all intentional. It's all intentional. All right. Let me see who's up. Lynette, do you have a way to vet anybody who wants to come up? If you're not following me and I don't know who you are, I am not in this to have arguments with people. I don't do that here. There are people who are really good at it, but I'm here to educate people who have been harmed and who are holding a lot of religious trauma and who are deconstructing. So this is the kind of conversations we hold here. So don't even invite to come up. And if I don't know you, I apologize. I can see people who asked Joe, are you seeing people wanting to come up? No, I see one person in the queue, but can you go vet them? They don't follow me. Can you go look on another account or on your iPad or something and vet them? Hiya, I know, and this is a lot. I know this is a lot, but we can pause here and we can take a break and talk about deconstructing. I know there's all kinds of people who want to talk that. And I'm going to tell y'all something too. A way that I'm not real good. I am not real good about asking for things, but I have a really good book coming out in 2 months, 3 months. And pre-orders are available. It's called Deconstructing, Leaving Church, Finding Faith. I have a whole section talking about patriarchy and understanding our indoctrination and how it's harmed us and how it's also preventing you from healing. So I would very much appreciate it if you would go pre-order that book, if you would share about it. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ginger. Thank you for ordering it. I'd very much appreciate that. Steve says, I'm newly deconstructing and following, but am not ready to go live. It's okay. It's okay. Fruity Talk says, my mom is 90 and still working as a psychologist, but Catholic. I have a really hard time with it. Wow, but still working. That's impressive. And I'm sorry. I hope she's able to be productive in that role. It sounds like she really is. Nobody, what's your problem? Oh, I know who you are. I recognize your face. You follow me on Instagram, don't you, buddy?
They come into my
You
life.
follow me. I screenshotted it. I know what you said to me. I know what you said to me. You want me to go to education camps, don't you? You're that guy. Yeah, but it's us, right? It's us. We're the problem. When you're inviting me, that I'll be one of the first in the education camps. That aren't going to happen because we're just making all this up. But yet you just come into my comments and say that. Well, then somebody's using your picture or you're a troll because you're the exact same picture, isn't it, Lynette? Do you see him? That's the exact same picture from Instagram. Yeah, Ginger. Yeah, they come in and say that. They say I'm the problem, and yet I'm making all this up and then make comments like that. Like they're excited that there will be re-education camps and I'm going to be targeted for it.
Yeah, nobody has a lot of hate to spread.
Yeah.
Should work on that. Forgiveness is amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, Jennifer, you mean him gaslighting or fine? You better make that clear, because I have some really, really great moderators and they might block you. Renee, hi. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being a subscriber. I'll pre-order. New to your team. I've been following and watching for 4 years. Thank you. So I did upload my first video into the subscriptions last week because I do a series called Sundays with Rev Karla. And those are really good for people who are just deconstructing, where you need to have a place to, hey, SnapBack now. Do you want to come up? Where people that need just something to watch on Sunday. So they're short. I try to keep them between 10 and 20 minutes. Some are 30. But we're going to have some conversations in there that are going to be specific to deconstructing. I'm going to use my book as a template for that. So be looking for that. That's coming real soon. Cheryl, thank you for being here. Hi, Lindsay. Thank you. User 937, thank you. I did not expect to be this worked up. Thank you, Shafon. Is that how you say your name? You got a couple people wanting to come up if you'd like. Yes. Who are they? Do you know? Am I friends with them? Oh, they follow. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna let one come up. Let's see what happens here. Snap back now. Do you want to come up?
Question, and then a little comment, and then I'm gonna run.
Okay. Hold on a second, CC. Can you, JC the hip, can you move? That's all I can see of your name. Can you mute, please? Okay, CC, you can unmute.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynette.
I'm going to pre-order your book. Are you okay if we discuss little snippets of it on live and stuff? Okay.
Yeah, and if you know your live schedule, send it to me. I'll send you my my phone, my text. So texting me is better. I don't see my messages as much. Flossie Mae's here.
Okay.
So I'll send you my phone number, and you can text me when you're going live. If I'm available, I will be happy to come in and be in your live as well. But yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much.
No problem. And then I just wanted to say one of the things when I came up and I forgot because, I squirreled, is one of the things I wanted to thank you for is
Sarah.
You made a video that maybe it was on the NAR video, just saying like, don't give up, keep going. You're not going to give up. You're going to keep going. And this is a time where a lot of us, it's very easy to feel defeated. And to find hope in what seems like an avalanche of just bad coming at us. And I needed to hear that at that very moment. And I think that was very purposeful that it came across me at that time. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I also want to encourage everyone else to make those kinds of videos. Encouraging, uplifting.
Yes.
Because we all need it. You need it too.
This is hard. So. Yeah, this is hard. And I'll try to remember to end my videos with that. But that's a good point. Just because I'm saying these things doesn't mean I'm giving up. Even when I talk about needing an action plan to help people get out of high risk states, it's not giving up. We're not giving up. Nobody's giving up. We're going to keep going because this is fixable. This is absolutely fixable. So you're getting safe. Yes, absolutely. Flossie, I want to get to you a minute. I want to see what JC the hip has to say. Cece, thank you, dear. If you have to drop down, go ahead and drop down and we'll talk soon. Send me a message and I'll send you my phone number.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. Hey, JC, did you have something you wanted to say? You have to unmute. JC, are you there? Okay, Flossie Mae, hi, come on up. And hi, SnapBack now. Hello. How are you?
Hi, gorgeous.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm having a glitch on my main account, so I can't go. I can't come in the box, which is weird.
Oh, okay.
I have live. My live is fine, but there's some glitch. Of course, I know you're
Oh,
surprised. A TikTok glitch.
okay. Hey Jess. Hey Jess Talk.
Oh.
It's good to see you. Well, I'm glad you're here. So I thank you for tagging me on your video because I went to the exact same place. I just did a video where I was talking about look, and I tagged you on it so you would see it. But it's in the comments. Sorry about that. But anyway, about the fact that we're being gaslit here, y'all. We are being gaslit. We are not the problem. This started back in April 20th, 1999, when we allowed Columbine to not only become the norm of how we're going to address the violence, but also how there's only one side that has romanticized the weapons that have been used in these mass pew-pews. So we're not going to be gaslit. We're not going to own this. So I loved your video. Thank you for what you did.
Yeah, and that really, I guess, I've had people mad at me because I've compared it to school shootings. It's like it is the same as any other mass pew-pewing, whether it be at a church, a concert, a movie theater, a school, a college, and anything.
Yeah.
You know, it
Once,
is yet.
who on our side, on this side, who is using those weapons in their Christmas cards, in their ad campaigns, wearing the lapel as a lapel pin on our nation's Capitol floor to make the laws of this nation? There's nobody on the Democratic side who's doing that. So,
Well, or trying to say, oh yeah, you need an AR because you have a farm and you're gonna shoot chipmunks with it. You want to vaporize them? Okay, sure.
yeah, let me tell you, people don't realize about me. I was raised, my grandfather was a dairy farmer. And I was raised around a lot of pew-pews. Whenever my uncle would get a new one, he lined us all up and we had to shoot it. I know what one will do to a can, but sadly also to wildlife. That's all I'm going to say. But I was raised in Kentucky. I know what these things can do.
Well, and I've been a hunter. I lived in Minnesota. I went deer hunting, and I am also an owner of pew-pews. But you don't hunt a deer with one of those either.
No,
Because you would damage too much of if you're hunting. Hopefully, we would donate the hide to the veterans. They made gloves out of it, and then you're eating the meat, so you don't.
Use the whole part. You use the whole part. JC the hippie, thank you. Use the whole part. SnapBack now. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Good.
Yeah.
I just had
Good
to go
to be here.
I had to go deliver something, y'all, at a landfill, and of course I was calling it the T-Rump Rally. The stench was so bad.
That's good. I want to comment. I want to get this comment. Jan, I'm sorry if we bothered you. I want to remind you that Flossie and Rosie and I are both animal welfare advocates. I am the founder of a low-cost spay-neuter clinic, and I've helped rescue animals. So I have completely evolved from those days. But I was talking a little bit about my past, and it is what it is. So I apologize if that offended you.
And I do a lot of food videos, and I do try to show and impress people that meat, foods, and things, they don't come from Walmart. They come from somewhere else. And I grew up in Nebraska, so that's farming and ranching.
Yeah,
And,
I was on a dairy farm and a pig farm. We knew what was happening with those animals.
And you take care of your animals, even if they are eventually going to go to market, because you want them healthy.
Yeah. But Jan, I just wanted to acknowledge that. So SnapBack Bout, where are you? I know you are deep in the heart of Texas, and I know you've got some things to say. So the stage is yours.
Yes, I'm here in Central Texas. And we do have to keep optimism here because, like you said, this is all fixable. 435 House seats up for grabs. 33 Senate seats up for grabs. All we have to do is get out there and have our voices heard through that vote, y'all, and we can make historic positive changes. We've been moving forward, even though at a slow pace, we were moving. But y'all, if we come together now with everything that's going on, I'm telling you, we can make historic, positive changes and stand behind Biden and Harris.
This is good. Preach it.
Yeah,
Preach it. And so that's a good point to talk about actionable steps, because one of the things that is so easy to do, understand your local election officials, understand your state election officials, because that is the first place that votes get certified and get counted. You need to make sure that there is election integrity, and I am not talking about the suspected fraudulent activities that Christian nationalists are talking about. But if they are putting operatives in place, you should be able to know what's happening on on the local side, and that your votes are going to be protected. They're going to be counted, and they're going to be protected. And if they're working in some way to dismantle and making it harder for people to vote, then you need to take action now to make sure that that gets changed. That you're helping with voting accessibility, getting people, making sure that they're checking that they haven't been wiped from the voting registration. Be a part of that now. Be a part of that now.
Yeah, I'm a little, I guess I'm a little weary of the people coming into my lives going, well, I'm scared, I'm this. I understand that. The hand wringing, it's like, then if you're scared, if you're worried about our country's future, then you need to get off your butt. Find your candidates that have the vision that you are thinking of for this country, for your state, for your city, for your county, and you need to go out and deliver signs. You need to knock on doors. You need to hold, if they have petitions, if there's ballot measures, you need to get out and actually do it. And for people who say, well, I'm disenfranchised, then you need to start including yourself. It's not going to drop into your open hands as you sit on your front porch.
Yes.
It's hard work. I started working in social justice groups when I was in my 20s, and it is pounding the pavement, sweaty, hard work. And sometimes you lose. And if you lose, well then, are you going to just sit down and cry and never vote again? If you do, then, what do they say? You're worthless as tits on a billy goat.
Yeah,
No,
for
it's
sure.
not apathy.
We can't give up. We have to keep working. So get a hold of your local election officials and find out what's doing and what you can help. And if they are wrapped up in a red state, then you go to the parties that are working to protect voting integrity, and you see what you can do to help. Absolutely. That's where we are now. Where do we find our local groups? Well, social media is a really good place to start, but I don't know. Rosie, do you know where they can find their local groups?
I would start with a Google search with your local city, but I would always suggest League of Women Voters is excellent. And your local election office will have all of the candidates. They will have their platforms, and that should be able to, it's very easy. Oh, honey, I live in a red state too. I live in Nebraska.
I'm in Indiana.
Right.
Hold my beer state.
That's it. Well, I'm in a red state. Well, who cares? Still get out and do your stuff.
We got to.
I was raised here. I lived in Minnesota for 30 years, which was very blue. But then I came back to Nebraska, and there's gonna be a lot of elections that we just lose. Because it is a red state, but it doesn't mean that we don't stop fighting and attending. If there's a rally in your city, go and look up, is there a rally for whatever you're concerned about? Things like that. Somebody's coming up to, I'm getting a delivery. Never mind. That's fine.
Okay.
I thought you need to talk to me. No. You do not open my door. You do not open my door.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh my God, the delivery guy just opened my front door.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a good way to get pew-pewed.
Hang on a second.
What in the world?
Oh my word. So SnapBack now, what are your thoughts about, I'm not I am not talking about anything that's suspicious. I'm about the event on Saturday. That's all I'm calling it. But I'm talking about the response to it and how people are creating this God narrative and the angels protecting Trump and things like that, and how much that is about gaslighting and trying to bring moderate evangelicals back into compliance, because Project 2025 is very much out there and people are starting to get afraid of it. But what are you hearing?
That, like when I was doing the live last night, people are nervous about what they're seeing, and they're nervous about the news and stuff, that keeps putting it out there. It's giving it power. They're giving all this power.
I've got to call Walmart.
Oh,
That's
okay.
who delivered this and who tried to come in my house.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, dear. See you soon. Wow.
But I know people are nervous about it, but I think in the news, it keeps giving it this power. And I almost feel like they're trying to tell us we need to, that higher, you go high while they go low thing. If you feel a certain way about this, you speak your mind on it.
Yes. Yes, you have to. That's why we have to talk. That's why we have to remember that this narrative that we are responsible for what happened on Saturday is absolute nonsense.
Exactly.
We have to make sure we have educated, informed response to that, because that is absolute nonsense. First of all, I want to say hi to somebody. Hi, Sarah. Hi, sweetie. And Mar 4488 wants us to talk about New Apostolic Reformation, NAR. SnapBack. Now, are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about it. You're welcome to stay up if you want to stay and hang on for a little bit. If not, you can drop back down. But anytime you're here and you want to come up, you are welcome to be a part of the panel.
Well, just so you know, how I truly love everything that you're doing and everything that you're putting out there. You're such a positive force in this world. There's a certain kind of karma that just comes from you, this goodness, it really makes me feel better when I'm able to catch your lives. I can be amped up, way up, but you just kind of, bring me back down a minute, get that deep breath. And sometimes we forget to take that deep breath during all this stress that's happening. And
well, you made my day. Thank you.
You're helping so many out there.
Becca, hi, dear one.
You are a force to be reckoned with.
Thank you.
You got this, and I love what you do.
I love you. I'll see you soon. All right, we're going to talk about the New Apostolic Reformation. So if you haven't seen my videos, I do have a playlist. I think I have 1 or 2 in there, and I will be doing more. I have some content queued up, but I held off on doing that because of Saturday's event. But New Apostolic Reformation is the most radicalized, insidious group of Christian nationalists. The way it's explained on the podcast, Straight White American Jesus, and it might have been, I can't think. Let me see if I can find it here. Lynette, by the way, I forgot to, do you need me on WhatsApp? I forgot to have it open. Hang on a second. I'm looking for a podcast because I told you about Straight White American Jesus. And I also want you to go to, why can't I find, oh, here we go. Charismatic Revival Fury, 2 podcasts, Straight White American Jesus and Charismatic Revival Fury. Charismatic Revival Fury is an 8-part series on the New Apostolic Reformation. So from now on, we're going to call that NAR. So you're going to get a deep dive into the history of NAR, who the players are, and why it's dangerous. So again, consider them the most extremist, radicalized of Christian nationalists. And the way it's described on that Charismatic Revival Fury, I don't know why I'm having such trouble remembering that. They say that if you consider the evangelical base as an arrow, the most moderate are at the bottom, but up the shaft are your real moderate evangelicals who romanticized Christianity, having influence in the different spheres of our lives. But at the tip is your NAR. And they filter down some of these things in a way to indoctrinate the evangelical base, to make them think that things are more innocuous than what they are. So in other words, the 7 Mountain Mandate is very much ingrained in the NAR. And I've done videos on this before that are in my playlist. But for those of you who don't know, it's this mindset that Christians have, should have influence in 7 areas of life, from arts and entertainment, business, education, family, government, media, and religion. And now sometimes those mountains also are included in military. And this comes from a vision from one of the NAR operatives. And they said that God gave them this vision that people should have influence on these 7 mountains. And so when you look at that and you look at how Project 2025 is about infiltrating all areas of life, you can see the influence that NAR has on these operatives. So if you want to research Dutch Sheets, Lance Wallnau, Walnau, and Paula White, now that name will sound familiar. Paula White was Trump's spiritual advisor. That's why he created that evangelical advisory committee that he had during his presidency, because he was surrounded by NAR members. They very much are part of the charismatic movement, but that doesn't mean that every charismatic church is involved in NAR. But this is their root. So if you recall, after the election when Trump lost, there's a video going around of Paula White speaking in tongues and then calling for angels of Africa and then talking about the strike, 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 strike. Because inside the NAR, and this is where it becomes very insidious, is any action that brings forth the kingdom of heaven, or what they see as the vision in those 7 mountains, is justified, including violence. So that's why they absconded and appropriated the flag called an appeal to heaven. Now, the appeal to heaven flag was used during the Revolutionary War. And it was one of those, it was two, what's crazy is to break away. So here we are breaking away from the monarchy, and the appeal to heaven said we appealed all human ways. We've appealed to all of these, and yet we have no relief. So we're going to appeal to heaven. We're going to move forward with action, and what God ordains will manifest. So the fact that we gained our independence makes this a strong symbolic figure. Now, on that shaft, that arrow that I visualized from that charismatic revival fury, that is not podcast. That is not I'm not claiming that as my own descriptive. People don't understand. They want to say that, oh, we're only using that flag because of our connection to its history. That, once again, is the deceptive marketing practices of the NAR. But the fact that that flag hangs out of Mike Johnson's outside his office, the fact that SCOTUS Justice Alito flew it, as well as Leonard Leo. Now, remember, Leonard Leo is the person who's responsible for the SCOTUS nominations that Trump eventually nominated to the court, as well as other Supreme Court nominations. He's highly influential. He's a part of Opus Dei. Now, Opus Dei is the most extremist operative within the Catholic Church, who very much has a motto of church over state. What many of us can't figure out is how NAR is connected to Opus Dei, because we're talking about extremist Christian factions and extremist Catholic factions, and never have those two got along well in the sandbox. But we can't figure that out. Even the person that's on this podcast is saying, "I don't get this." And I was hypothesizing earlier that maybe they've agreed that they'll create a co-power. One will get this and one will get this, but they agree to do these things together. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. So you can see how dangerous NAR is. And they are very deeply involved. They're very deeply involved. They're in Trump's ear. They're all over Project 2025. Now, I shared just Kat, go away. This is about facts. These are all facts, and it's all searchable. By the way, I'm going to start putting all this research in Substack. So you can go there, you can see my notes, and when anything I talk about, we're going to lay it all there. Lynette is taking copious notes on anything that's shared here. They're going to go right on notes on Substack. You can go over there and you can research it yourself. And guess what? We won't be using anything from Newsmax, Alex Jones, or any of the other operatives over there who like to spin this narrative. This is all truth. You can easily see who this is. But if you go to stopthecoup2025.org, it's very important that you go to stopthecoup2025.org. Do not go to just Stop the Coup, because then you're going to get something that Mike Pence put up years ago that is another one of those marketing ploys of extremist Christians. You can go see it just for fun if you want. So anyway, is that you can go see my videos where I did a little bit more, but you really need to go listen to those podcasts. I am very grateful for those podcasts because they're giving me the background and the knowledge. You can also go research some, and like I said, I'll put a bunch. I've been researching them. I have the source notes. I'll be putting all of those in Substack. I've only got one note started, but that you can find me there. Please go register. It's another way you can get it free, but it's also a way if you want to support me, that's a place that you can support me so that I can continue to do the hours long research that I do. I do appreciate that. Also, yeah. Okay. Kat. Okay. So this is Kat. Thank you, Kat, for showing us what gaslighting looks like. Because this is exactly what I was talking about. When you are looking at the narrative that they're talking about with God protecting Trump, when we are looking at the faction of people who have the audacity to say something like that, when we have allowed since April 20th of 1999, hundreds of school unalivings to occur, while one group of politicians even wear that weapon as a lapel pin on their jackets, take Christmas cards, photos with holding that weapon in their hand, use ad campaigns holding that weapon. There's one group of politicians who have done that, and they aren't the ones we're supporting. And yet they have the audacity to say that on Saturday, God protected that person, but can't protect the little 5-year-olds that just want to go to school. At that point, God favors the weapon, right? Is that what we're talking about here? That you expect us to believe that narrative? Do you understand how hypocritical that is? How insidious that is, how uncaring that is, and you want to be proud of it. That's the sickness that's inside Christian nationalism. That's the sickness that's behind what's motivating the people that are behind Project 2025. So Just Kat, thank you, my dear. Thank you for coming in here and showing us how incredibly uncaring you are and how you will go to any length at all to worship a dictator over children. So when you want to talk about how we are the threat, you just turn the mirror on yourself. Wes just said Democrats are Project 2025. The Heritage, go read Heritage Foundation right now. Go to heritagefoundation.org and put in something like Smithsmortion. Put in something like IVF, the articles. Go to heritagefoundation.org right now, the operative behind Project 2025. Go put those in. Go put in same-sex marriage. Go put it in. Go put in interracial marriage. Go put in IVF. Go see, because they're signaling everything that they are against, and then come back here and tell me that Project 2025 is a Democratic initiative. This is all about gaslighting, because this is the side of Christianity that has done this for years. And I'm sorry for those of you who I will make uncomfortable right now. But this is the side of Christianity that's learned to blur the lines and hide their toxic theology behind the rock band and the blacked out sanctuary and the pastor in jeans, when they went non-denominational to try to distance themselves from the Southern Baptist and the evangelical base. But they're hiding the toxic theology because they needed people in the pews to keep that prosperity gospel going. That's what they did. And now they've gone into this. So yeah, try to tell me once again that the Democrats are behind Project 2025. Just keep it up. Keep it up. Okay, y'all, listen. I'm going to say it again for those of you who weren't here. Yeah, Holly, that I will... No, I didn't see that. Lynette, can you grab that Paula White, God forbid, documentary? That would be a good one to put in our source notes. The source notes will be on Substack. We'll get to them as soon as we can. Y'all, once again, my book is in pre-order. This is a really good way for you to support me. It's called Deconstructing, Leaving Church, Finding Faith. For those of you, this is a lot of work. I take a lot of time to be able to come here in these lives, and also for the videos that we do. We appreciate your support. Hi, Heidi Ho. I so like it when you come here, because you encourage people to tap and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for being here. Oh yeah, we can talk about Jerry Falwell all day. And so thank you for the pre-orders. I will be, for those of you who are joining my subscriptions, thank you very, very much. We're going to be talking through deconstructing using my book as an outline. So I very much would, I would appreciate your support in there. There's many levels where you can join. Thank you again for being here. I hope I've helped. If I have not gotten your questions, you can send them to Lynette. Which can they send it to? Because we do grab questions. We do use them. If you're looking at a place where you need some more support, you can find it at Rev Karla's Inner Circle at Book of the Face. It's free. Come to the Indy for book signing. Yes, thank you, Holly, for that. Also, I am coming to Indianapolis for a book signing. We're trying to figure out gauge the interest for that. So make sure that you fill out the poll. I'm not sure where it is, but make sure you grab that and let us know if you're interested in that book signing. But again, please, thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you did here. Remember what SnapBack Now said. Remember what Rosie said. We're not giving up. We have to know how bad it is, and we have to be educated and informed, but we are not giving up. Y'all, we can do this. We are the majority. The reason why they're working so hard to oppress our rights is because they're terrified of losing the power, but they are not the majority by any way, shape, or form. They're just trying to convince us of that. They are not. Remember, 3 million more people voted for Hillary. 3 million more people voted for Hillary. We are going to win this. Do not give up hope. Thank you all so very much. Talk to you soon. Yes, SnapBack. Love you.